Hello everyone, today is 27th of October. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Now guys, first of all, let's have a quote for today's GS folder. So today we will be taking a quote from the Martin Luther King, the civil rights activist and the one who gave the speech I Have a Dream. He says, there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but he must take it because the conscience tells him it is right. Now, guys, Martin Luther King has recognized the role of the voice of conscience in guiding the ethical conduct of a human being, which might not be justified at that point of time onto the political or the legal notions, but the path has to be taken. Now, guys, this particular quote we can utilize in our GS paper number 4 ethics, where directly into the topic number 6 the voice of conscience has been mentioned. So guys, that's it. And now let's take the newspaper analysis. Now guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the news articles that we'll be taking today. So guys, this is the Press Information Bureau. Now guys, here the important news with respect to our exams could be this. First news is guys with respect to the DOPT where the child care leave has been mentioned. So comprehensively we'll be seeing this thing. After that guys, here we can see that a tectonically active zone in Himalayas has actually been identified. Then guys, the third news is with respect to the Niti Aayog where the IAS circular economy hackathon has been mentioned. After that guys, this particular news article has been taken from the Hindu where today the BECA will be signed at 2 plus 2 dialogue. Then guys, this next news is with respect to the new decision where the center had said that they will be bringing a new legislation onto the stubble burning. This particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Then guys, this particular article has also been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Now guys, it is talking about the Supreme Court appointed Lokur committee which was formed for the stubble burning issue. So we will be taking this also. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express and it is talking about the Amur Falcon. And guys, with respect to it, some important things will be seen. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Live Mint, which is talking from for the gender skewing workforce. Then this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. It is also talking about the declining women labor force participation. Then guys, this third article has also been onto the women labor force and it is taken again from the Live Mint newspaper. So we'll be seeing this entire issue. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Business Standard. It is talking about the China's net zero target which it has just few days back announced. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Financial Express and here we'll be seeing the microfinance institutions and certain reforms that are needed. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and here we will be seeing that the Chile has voted for a new constitution. So what is this issue? So guys, that's all for today's newspaper discussions and now let's take up the articles in detail. Now guys, taking up the first article. So this particular article, it is from PIB where the Department of Personnel and Training has gave a address with respect to the reforms regarding the child care leave. Now, this particular topic is important under the GS paper number 2. Now, guys, here it has been said that the DOPT has provided that the male members or the male employees they can opt for the child care leave for taking care of their children. Now, guys, here one conditionality has been attached that is only the single male parents can apply for the child care leave. Now, these single male parents they could be the divorcees or widowers or could be the unmarried people. Now, guys, even they can also apply for the leave travel concession during the child care leave. Now, what is this LTC, guys? If you remember, just 3 4 days back, we had seen this LTC when we were discussing the mini fiscal stimulus that was given by the government. Now, guys, LTC is a kind of a reimbursement that is given to the government employees for the travel that they have made. Now, onto the basis of a pay scale of an employee, either the airplane ticket or the railway ticket is reimbursed for the journey. So, guys, that particular claim can also be made during the child care leave. Further, guys, it has also been provided that the child care leave can be taken for the child up to any age into the case of the disabled children. Now, guys, earlier the limit of up only 22 years was imposed here, but now this 22-year bracket has been removed. Now, guys, on to the spirit or the message that it is conveying. It is a very progressive reform But because often it has been seen that the women are only considered as the primary caregiver to the children, and only they are entitled to such kind of leaves. Now guys, moving little bit beyond the scope of this child care leave, let's move on to the maternal leaves as well as paternal leaves. Now guys, maternal leaves are given to a mother when he delivers a child. In our country, there is a Maternity Benefit Act 2017 which provides that a pregnant woman can take 26 weeks of paid leave for the maternal purpose. Now guys, any organization in India which is employing more than 10 workers, they have to provide the maternal leaves to the women employees, and they need to be paid. But guys, even till today, we don't have much focus onto the paternal leaves. That is, the fathers are not given such kind of leave, because it is assumed that only women is having the responsibility. And because of this particular thing, the UNICEF report says that India is among 90 countries into the world where there is no national policy onto the paternal leave, and it is to be given. Now guys, into this particular spectrum, if we see the notification of the DOPT, it is giving the child care leave to the male members, so it is a breakthrough. But guys, here just see, only the single male parents can apply. So still, that particular kind of a stereotype has been upheld even into the government. Moreover guys, if we see the number of male member actually working under the government, their number is too few. Onto the lines of the extensive umbrella that is there for the Maternity Benefit Act, such arrangement has not been made for the male members. Now guys, in our country, only the Zomato and Novartis are the two companies which are providing the paternal leave onto the lines of the maternal leave. That is, the 26 weeks are weeks of a paid leave is also given to the father if the child is born. Now guys, in order to basically make the paternal leave in India, the paternity benefit bill was raised in 2018, which provides that the organized establishment, unorganized establishments, as well as the self-employed establishments need to provide the paternal leaves to the male members. If a person has worked for 80 days into an organization, he becomes entitled to the paternal leave. But guys, even till today, this paternal leave bill has not been asked. Moreover, there is also a judgment by the Delhi High Court, that is the Chandra Mohan Jain judgment of 2009, which has also recognized that the male of the unaided schools, they are eligible for the paternal leave. So guys, basically the Delhi High Court has recognized the possibility of the paternal leaves, and now the time is ripe that such thing needs to be extended onto the pan India basis to all the organizations. Moreover guys, in India, when we have only the maternal leave and not the paternal leave, it also creates some bad precedences. For example, just because 26 weeks of paid leave is to be given to the women, the employers, they all together don't hire the women employees, and always they prefer the male, which again basically penetrates the stereotype. And actually bringing the paternal leave will not be having such kind of advantage for the employers, and therefore much more inclusivity into the employments will be coming. Guys, though DOPT's kind of a notification for the child care leave is much more progressive, but even more could have been given if this limitation of a single male parent would not have been there. So guys, that's all about this particular article. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the PIB, and this particular news is very important for our GS paper number 1, where the topic of the geological phenomena has been mentioned. Now guys, this particular article pertains to a new finding that has been made with respect to the Indus Sachar zone into the Himalayas. Now guys, Indus Sachar zone, this is that particular region where the Indian plate has collided with the Asian plate. Now guys, you might have seen this particular picture into your geography, where we had seen that just 10 million years ago, actually the India collided with the Eurasian plate or Asian plate, and the mainland India actually was formed into the present day's shape. So that particular zone where this collision happened is the Indus Sachar zone. And guys, originally it was thought that this particular zone is a locked fault. Now what is this locked fault? Guys, if the frictional resistance is more than the shear stress, then there will be the locked fault. Now guys, just understand this in this particular way. We know that there are different plates, and guys, because of the convectional belt that are going in below, deep below the earth, these plates are always into some kind of motion, and because of this particular motion, the shear stress is caused, and when this particular stress is too much, it overcomes the resistance of the continental rocks, then guys, the earthquake happens. But if this frictional resistance will be too much, then guys, the stress will not be released and there will not be earthquake. So the locked fault zones are those where this frictional resistance is much more than the shear stress, and therefore the earthquake and related activity is comparatively low into these locked faults. And it was earlier being said that the Indus Suture zone is an example of the locked fault. But guys, now the new studies have came, and according to them, basically the region is believed to be very active and it is not the locked fault. Even the earthquake into the 2010 was because of the activity which happened here, and now the traditional studies are being questioned into this particular regard. So guys, first of all, you don't need to go into the nitty gritties of this particular study, but this particular locked fault, earthquake as a activity, earthquake into the Himalaya as a colliding boundary, all these things become much more important this particular year, could be asked into the GS paper number 1. So guys, that's all. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article I have taken from the PIV, and it is important for the GS paper number 3, that is the idea of the circular economy. Now guys, what had happened? The Atal Innovation Mission, it has just launched the IACE, that is the India Australia Circular Economy Hackathon. Now, first of all, guys, what do we understand by the circular economy? See, there could be two types. One is circular economy, other could be the linear economy. Now, guys, into the linear economy, just assume that first of all, the cotton will be grown, then the cotton will be converted into the yarn, then that yarn will be converted into the clothes. You will wear these clothes, you will just throw these clothes into the landfills, and they will just be degrading there. It is an example of the linear economy where one product was made and it was ultimately discarded. Whereas circular economy is one when you will make a product, you will use the product, then guys again you will reuse that particular product for another thing, then you will reuse that particular for another thing, then finally you will recycle that particular product, and in such particular way the waste will be minimized, and guys, a kind of a sustainable economy will be built. So this is the idea of the circular economy. Now, guys, into this IAs, that is the India Australia Circular Economy Hackathon, certain themes has been taken. First theme is the innovation in packaging, reducing packaging waste, innovation in food supply chain, avoiding waste, creating opportunities for plastic waste reduction, recycling critical energy, metals, and e-waste. Now, guys, here the students, MSMEs, startups, they are being called, and they will be presenting that how the circular economy could be achieved. Now this particular idea is very good because guys, the 2050 to 2030 we have taken the sustainable development goals, and the circular economy will directly supplement the idea of the sustainable development. Now, circular economy can directly meet some of the SDGs. For example, the SDG number 11, which is talking about the sustainable cities and communities, it could be achieved because obviously the sustainableness will be coming. Then the SDG number 12, that is the responsible consumption and production, it will be met by the circular economy. After that, guys, the climate action. Obviously, if the resources will be conserved, it will save much of energy in making the entirely new products. The carbon footprint will be less, and all such kind of things. Then guys, the life below water will be conserved because we had seen that many of the products which are directly being discarded, they end up into the water bodies. Then the life onto the land will also be preserved because there will be no degradation of land, because the products will not end up directly into the landfills, and there they will not increase the toxicity. So guys, the circular economy can solve so much of the challenges and can be beneficial on so many of the fronts. So the idea of circular economy needs to be made much more streamlined, and much more focused attention is to be given. So guys, that's all about this particular article. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is important for our GS paper number 2, India US Corporations. Now, guys, today the India US 2 plus 2 dialogue is to be held, and here it is being assumed that the BACA will finally be signed. Now, guys, first of all, 2 plus 2 format is where the defense minister as well as foreign minister from both the countries they come together and take up certain critical strategic issues. Now, guys, what is this BECA which we have talked here? See, USA has four foundational agreements which it signs with any country, and the completion of these four foundational agreements means that the strategic relation onto the comprehensive terms has been established. Now, guys, these four agreements are the General Security of Military Information Agreement GSOMIA. India had already signed this particular agreement in 2002, and this particular agreement allows the militaries of each of the both the countries that they can share the intelligence. Then, guys, the second agreement is the Logistic Exchange Memorandum Agreement LEMOA. Now, this particular agreement has also been signed in 2016, and by signing this particular, both the countries can use each other's designated military facilities. Basically, it is signed so that the naval bases etc. could be utilized. Then, guys, the third is the Communication and Information Security Memorandum of Agreement, KISMOA or COMCASA. Now, this particular agreement allows that some highly critical and sensitive communication security equipment can be transferred by USA to India. India will be endorsing all the protocols and all the security architecture India will be established. So it has also been signed. Now, guys, this BECA, that is the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, it was not signed till now, and now today it is expected that it will finally be signed. Now, by this particular thing, the satellite data of the movement of the militaries of both the countries will be shared with each other. Now, guys, their problem in signing this BECA was because of the Russia. Because, guys, with the Russia also we have done so much of the strategic agreements, and Russia had a such kind some kind of indirect problem because such sensitive information might hamper the Russian interest. But, guys, now the BECA has finally been decided and it will be taken up. So, guys, by this particular thing, India's relation with the USA will be seeing a new kind of trajectory. So, guys, this is all about this particular thing. When you are writing about the India US relations, please do provide this particular reference. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it pertains to the recent direction of the center government or the decision where they have said that a law to prevent the stubble burning is being finalized. Now, this particular article is important for the GS paper number 3 under the topics of the environmental pollution, as well as it is also important for GS paper number 1. Now, guys, what has happened? We had seen over the past few days that the problem of the winter pollution had started, and every day such problem begins. Now, guys, just a few days back, even the Supreme Court appointed a one man committee under the leadership of the Justice Madan B Lokur, and he was given the task to enforce that the stubble burning instances don't happen into the Punjab, Uttar Pradesh as well as Haryana. The governments were told that he should be given all the assistance, and, guys, we had seen that he even enrolled the students of the NCC, Bharat Scouts, etc. to do this particular thing. Now, guys, the center had said that comprehensively center had thought into this particular issue, and now a draft legislation has been prepared which will be providing a comprehensive groundwork as how the stubble burning is to be stopped, legal penalties and all these particular things will also be there into this draft legislation. And right now, as Parliament is not meeting, this draft legislation will be enforced via an ordinance under Article number 123 of the Indian Constitution. Now, guys, just this has been there. However, no details about the design of this particular draft legislation has been made available. Now guys, if we see little bit beyond, then guys, already the graded response action plan is being undertaken for the winter pollution into the Delhi, which is seen by the Environmental Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, and it takes the activities such as imposing the ban onto the diesel generators, construction, all these particular kind of things. After that guys, the Punjab, it had already basically appointed more than 8,000 nodal officers who will be looking onto the instances of the stubble burning, as well as the crop residue machines are also being provided to the farmers, so that without burning the stubble they can cut the stubble and can utilize it into the some other purposes. Then guys, Delhi, we had seen the few days back the Pusa decomposer has been developed, which is a fungi based solution. Now guys, this particular solution, if it is sprayed onto the fields, then the stubble becomes softened and it automatically melts away into the field and basically improves the fertility of the soil. So therefore all these particular things are also being done, and then the draft legislation is also being prepared. So guys, if a question comes, all these points you can provide and it will provide you a ready-made answer. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper, and it is important for our GS paper number 3, ecology, as well as important for the prelims exam. Now, guys, here the Amur falcon has been mentioned. Now, guys, first of all, if I tell you some background, then, guys, what happened in 2012, there was a report published into the Indian media as well as foreign media, where it was actually known that into the Nagaland every day more than 1 lakh of Amur falcons, they are being hunted, they are being killed, and they are being sold for their meat. And because of that particular thing, there was huge backlash from the activist. Now guys, Amur falcon, if we talk about this particular bird, then they are the migratory birds and one of the longest migratory path they cover. They start from the Siberia and northern China, and guys, from there they travel up to South Africa, and in between the Nagaland is a layover for them, but there they have been hunted for their meat. Now guys, after that particular thing, the Ministry of Environment, the Wildlife Institute of India, as well as the state government, they started a plan for the conservation of the Amur falcons, and the people were sensitized. Even the villages were said that they will not be provided any grants if they involve into the hunting of the Amur falcons. And guys, now a turnaround has been seen, and guys, the Pangti village, which was very much notorious for the hunting of these Amur falcons into the Nagaland, now they have become the preservationist of the Amur falcons. And guys, even there was a movie documentary onto this, that is the Pangti story, which told that how people used to hunt, but now they have turned into the preservationist. And guys, on to the success of this, the conservation project for the Amur falcons has now been extended from Nagaland and Manipur to the Assam, Mizoram, and Tripura. So this is a positive success story into this particular light, and it shows that actually by educating the people you can solve much of the much complex problems. Now guys, Amur falcon, they have been given the least concerned status onto the IUCN red list. So guys, that's all about this particular news item. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about the women labor force participation. Now this article has been taken from the Live Mint, this article has been taken from the Hindu, and this article has again been taken from the Live Mint. So today, on to the same theme, you can see there are three separate articles. Now we will be clubbing them all and will be seeing it with the reference for our GS paper number 2, women issues, as well as into the GS paper number 3, the economic benefits that will be coming from here. Now guys, it has been provided that just a few days back the new edition of women to payroll report has been released by the EPFO, that is the Employees Provident Fund Organization, and it has been said that the new edition of women to payroll is just 19.98%. Now first of all, what does this thing means? Now guys, just suppose if 100 people are today joining the new jobs, new payrolls, if they are getting enrolled in, then only 19.98 among them are the women, which is very bad. Now, guys, it has been said that why such less number of women are entering. Number one, there is a severe dearth or severe scarcity of jobs for the women. Secondly, guys, there is huge discrimination which happens because the women, they have to be given the maternity benefit act, then they might not be able to give such long hours as the male member can give, so therefore the discrimination happens. Then, guys, there is lack of support from the family nowadays because of this quarantine and this pandemic which is going on, therefore they don't want women to work. Fourthly, guys, now the companies, they are involving in reducing their cost. They simply are forcing the male members to contribute to the more working hours, and as it is believed that women might not be able to work into the off hours, the women are directly not being preferred, therefore there is such reduction. Now, guys, moving little bit beyond the scope of this particular article, if we see the entire participation of women also, that is also not good. And, guys, according to the India Voluntary National Review 2020 report, 25.3% is the women labor force participation rate in India. Now, guys, according to the World Bank data, it has been said that in 1991, 30% of women labor force participation rate was there. In 2005, it was 31.8%, and now it has been there 20.3%. So, guys, any of the data, though difference is there, but it shows that very poor women labor force participation rate is there. And, guys, at the same time, IMF has said that if women participate equally into the economy as the male members are doing, then our GDP can rise by 27%. And according to the McKinsey Global Report, it has been said that India will gain $770 billion by 2025 if women start to participate at the equal rate of the men, and if this particular thing can be improved. Now, guys, it has been said that how this particular thing can be done. So two things are right now needed to be linked, that is the women empowerment, women employment, as well as the green growth. Now, basically, friends, not only the women but all the vulnerable sections, they will be facing problems into the post pandemic world. Therefore, the investments need to be made into such infrastructure which is made by using the climate resilient technologies into the agriculture, urban planning, energy, health. We need to undertake the climate resilient civil works even under the MG Narega. The climate resilient civil works are needed to be given much more focus, and their women should be employed. Guys, it has been said that if we undertake the projects such as the solar installation, etc., there much scope for the women employment is there. And, guys, according to the self employed women's association, it has been said that by training the rural women to develop the solar technicians, the 15,000 women can be provided the jobs into the remote locations. So, guys, on to such particular thing, it has been said that the women's need to be made the green growth partners. Guy, according to the report by the Asian Development Bank, it has been said that if the women's are now provided the employment into such kind of avenues, the India's growth rate will rebound to 8% into the 2021-2022. Just a few days back we had seen that it dipped to 23.9%, that is negative. And, guys, this particular could be achieved if women are paid attention. So therefore now it is the economic necessity that the women are brought out of their houses and they are employed into the work fields. So, guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Business Standard newspaper, and it is talking about the recent climate pledge that has been made by the China and how it is a kind of a wake up call for India also. Now, guys, just a few days back, the China has taken a climate pledge where it has said that by 2060 the China will become the carbon neutral. First of all, guys, what does this word carbon neutral means? It means that they will be emitting only that much level of pollution or that much of the carbon which could be absorbed via the process of the carbon sequestration. Guys, you know that there are the plants which absorb the carbon dioxide, trees, basically the green cover. So you have that much green cover that it can absorb the amount of carbon dioxide that you are giving out. That means that you are the carbon neutral. Guys, carbon zero means that not even a single unit of emission you are committing, but that is not possible because guys, anyhow, into the times to come, there is not possible replacement of the fuel into the jet engines. They will continuously be using the oil. Then guys, similarly the natural gas will be a kind of a energy alternative for a long time. So guys, the carbon neutrality can be achieved but not the carbon zero. So the China will be achieving this neutrality moving forward. Guys, into the during the same time, the European Union had said that they will also become the carbon neutral by 2050. Now, USA is one major player which has not given any kind of date as when they are turning into the carbon neutral nation, because guys, the stand of the Donald Trump is such that he doesn't believes into the climate change. But it has been said that if Joe Biden is elected as a president into the US, then guys, they might also be giving a deadline on becoming the carbon neutral. Now, the China's declaration is something very huge because right now, if we see, China is the largest consumer of the fossil fuel energy, and guys, the China's consumption of energy is even more than the consumption of the US and European Union combined. Now, guys, presently the China's energy mix, it has 85% of energy coming from the fossil fuel. And guys, in order to become the carbon neutral, only 20% of the energy needs to become from the fossil fuels, and 80% of energy needs to come from the renewable energy. Now guys, specifically if we talk about the coal energy in the China, then 66% of the energy is derived by the coal. Now guys, to be the carbon neutral by 2060, it means that not only the 80% energy needs to be coming from the renewable, but the carbon induced energy needs to be 0%. Now a kind of a question comes whether this particular thing is possible, because into the last 30 years only 5% reduction has been there into the China onto the reliance onto the coal for their energy. And guys, in next 40 years 0% has to be achieved from the present 66%. So whether it is achievable or not, it is also happens to be a question. Now guys, China at right now needs 6 to 6.5 trillion dollar worth of investment to reach this particular target, and it means that there is much scope for the technology development as well as investment into the green sectors. Guys, into this particular thing, when we are talking about the alternative renewable energy sources, the hydrogen will be playing an important role, and the hydrogen fuel cell is of a particular interest. Guys, hydrogen fuel cell technology is very much important because first of all, the density of the hydrogen batteries is much more than the lithium batteries which are presently being used. Moreover guys, it also takes a very short charging time and can power up very heavy vehicles and can be used for the commercial transportation also. Now guys, into all this particular thing, a pressure has been mounted onto the India also, that India has also to be announced a zero net carbon date. But guys, a kind of a suggestion has been made that if even we don't have the capacities, we need to make the capacities beforehand so that we don't depend onto the countries such as China for the hydrogen fuel cells, as right now we are dependent onto the China for the lithium batteries. So guys, this particular transition towards the green energy and towards the carbon neutrality will bring much important windows for the India. And if India built the self-sufficiency into this, then guys, India can not only power up the own needs, but can also be supplier to the China and various other countries which will be announcing their carbon neutral targets into the mean course of time. So guys, therefore, it is much important for India that the R&D with respect to the perfection into hydrogen fuel cells and such kind of things, the attention is made on this line. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Financial Express, and it is talking about the micro financial institutions, and it will be important for our GS paper number 3. Now, guys, first of all, the micro financial institution MFIs, they are a type of the NBFC, that is the non banking financial companies, and basically to start an MFI, an establishment needs to have the net owned funds of minimum 5 crore rupees. Guys, MFIs, they provide the small loan particularly for the working capital requirement for the small ventures. Now guys, these MFIs have an important role into the poverty alleviation as well as for the women empowerment, because much of the small amount loan that they are giving, they provide opportunities to the people that they can start their own ventures, and particularly many a times these ventures are headed by the women, so two particular objectives are being met by these MFIs. Now guys, recently MFIN report was published where it was said that MFI's loan portfolio has now increased substantially. Presently, the loan worth of 2.31 lakh crore has been given by the MFIs, and 5.89 crore customers are right now benefiting from the money which is provided by the MFI. And guys, into the last few years, MFIs have made some very impressive interventions. For example, they have expanded the digital operations, then the turnaround time, the time in processing the loan, etc., has been reduced drastically. More customers now they have attracted, a kind of a financial inclusion they have worked upon. But guys, this is not only the good thing, but there are some negative issues also with respect to the MFIs. Now guys, it has been observed that MFIs loans are actually now not reducing the poverty alleviation. Now the loans are simply being used for the consumption purposes, productive income generating purposes. The money is not being utilized, so there is a need to reform the present structure of the MFIs in India. So into the article, three suggestions have been made as what can be done. Number one, it has been said that guys, the digital outreach of the MFIs, it needs to be enhanced even more further. Right now the digital outreach is only limited to the dispensation of the loan, so the loan processing is into the digital format. But guys, that track needs to be kept whether the money which has been given for the purpose for that particular thing it is being used or not. Then guys, field officers are needed to be employed by the MFIs which can correctly evaluate the household incomes for the loan. Now actually MFIs have been made, but guys, they can give loan only onto the basis of the serviceability of the loan, whether a household can pay back the money. And if incomes of the household are too low, then the loan will not be sanctioned. Guys, many a times when the MFIs are deciding the household income, they don't factor many much activities of the household, and therefore, guys, many people are left out of the financial umbrella, and at the end of the day, they have to take money from the money lender, mahajans, etc. So guys, these field officers need to actually account all kind of activities which a household is involved, and a correct picture of their paying capacity needs to be brought out. Then guys, the Reserve Bank of India and other financial institutions, they actually need to develop a social impact scorecard. Social impact scorecard means that collectively these MFIs, what productive change they have brought into the society, whether they had actually onto the numerical terms reduced the poverty or not, women empowerment has been there or not. So such kind of a social impact scorecard also needs to be prepared, so that the actual impact of the MFIs we can trace down. And guys, this third particular initiative or the suggestion is a very good suggestion, and not only even for the MFIs, but for the RRBs, payment bank, and various other new financial products which have been made, it needs to be there. So guys, there could be a possibility that a direct question into the GS paper number 3 can be asked onto the role that is being played by the MFIs. So please keep all these points into your mind. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the people of the Chile who had voted for the new constitution. Now, first of all, guys, we don't need to go too much into the details of this particular thing, because it happens to be an internal matter and direct implication onto the India will not be there. Now, guys, onto the world map. Here you can see the map of the Chile. It is surrounded by the Andes mountain range towards the eastern side, and onto the western side it is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, and in between the Chile is there. Now guys, in 1973 a coup happened into the Chile, and the dictatorship of the Augusto Pinochet came there, and under his era the new constitution was drafted in 1980. But guys, this particular constitution, even though some amendments have been made, it doesn't happens to be the representative. Moreover, guys, even the role of a state as a welfareist has been to be very minimal. And right now, as the pandemic has come, it has been said that the countries which have provided much more welfare and such kind of social transfers to their citizens, they have performed very much good. And guys, into this particular time, the referendum has been voted into the Chile, where people had voted for making a new constitution under which more civil liberties, more rights, and more welfareism can be provided to the citizens. And guys, the voting of the referendum was such that the new constitution is going to be brought into the Chile. So guys, just that's it. Please keep it as a reference into your mind that there is going to be a one liner question that which countries have now just framed a new constitution. So guys, that's all for the articles for today. I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.